Okay, on the podcast again today, we have Jason Patterson on doing our weekly boxing chat again this week. How you doing, Jace?
I'm doing good, Coach.
Good.
You know, just another day.
Yeah. So this week shouldn't be as heated. So last week was was more of a TBE. Now we both had our different opinions.
Definitely is.
I thought I beat Jason on the debate. Anyway, whoever watched it,
No, I killed you. The fans know that. I killed you.
I thought I beat him. But this week we're talking boxing's top 10 biggest rivalries. So again, like last week, everyone's going to have their own opinions. But me and Jason, we've both picked our top 10s, biggest boxing rivalries. Obviously, you could go on 100, 150 years, but we've just got we've done our studying throughout the week and just thought, we've got fights we automatically come in our head anyway from the fights we've watched in recent times since we've been born or since we've been into boxing.
Yeah.
But there is some before we was born, but we've looked at the history and looked at rivalries and stuff like that. So what we'll do is I'm going to tell you I'm going to give you my top 10, and then Jason's going to give his top 10, and then we'll talk about both of them.
Right.
So my number one is.
You want to do 10 to 1, or you want to do 1 to 10?
I'm going to go 1 to 10. I'm going to go 1 to 10.
I'm going to go 10 to 1, but go ahead.
So my number one is Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Okay. My number 2 is Max Schmeling against Joe Louis. Number 3 is Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Number 4 is Barrera Morales. Number 5 is Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta. Number 6 is Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. Number 7 is Pacquiao Marquez. Number 8 is number 8 is Mayo over Pacquiao. Controversial one in there. I know a controversial one in there.
Okay.
Number 9 is sorry, what we're doing here? Number 9. Morales is number 9 is Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez. And number 10 is I mentioned Marquez Pacquiao, didn't I? What have we done there?
Yeah, you did. I think so, yeah. I think you had it at 7.
Yeah. Is Gatti Ward.
Oh, you actually... Oh, okay. Interesting.
I put 9 then, but yes, 10. What's yours?
Okay. Interesting. There's a lot of them I don't really agree, but we'll see about that. My number 10, I got a number 10, Larry Holmes and Michael Spinks, but really, I had it in my number 10 at first, people, but I actually took it off.
Yeah. Because
I have a certain criteria for rivalries. So I actually put, that's controversial too, especially when I tell you my criteria. Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, but there's an exception to the rule, and it's them two. So that's my number 10.
Right.
Number 9, I got Sugar Ray Robinson, Carmen Basilio. Then number 8, I got Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez. Number 7, I got Joe Louis and Max Schmeling. Number 6, I got Lennox Lewis and Hasim Rahman.
Hasim Rahman, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was my number 6, I think. Yep. Number 5, I got Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Number 4, I got Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Yeah.
Number 3, I got Manny Pacquiao and Marquez.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. And number 1, I got Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
So we've got the same, but just in a different order.
Yeah.
In the top 10.
I definitely don't got Gotti Ward. That's out of there. No way. It's not. Matter of fact, in my honorable mentions, let me mention my honorable mentions. I got Floyd and De La Hoya. I got Tarver, Roy Jones.
Yeah.
And I know you disagree with me, but in history, in politics, Russia and the U.S. always had some type of beef or whatever. So I definitely got Andre Ward and Kovalev. Even though Andre Ward won both fights, and I'm going to put Spinks and Larry Holmes in there too, even though Spinks won both fights. Because my criteria is a rivalry. A rivalry to me, a true rivalry, you cannot win all the fights. It got to be splits. And then it got to be for a world title. You can't just be fighting just to fight.
Yeah.
That's why Gotti Ward for me is not in there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be an honorable mention. But it will be in the top 10 wars maybe. But that's it. Not top 10 fights to me because they wasn't fighting for nothing.
Yeah.
The reason why people are going to say, well, what do you have Floyd Mayweather and De La Hoya in your honorable mentions? Or what do you even have Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather in your top 10? So let me answer that before I start getting some smart comments about it. De La Hoya and Floyd, out of all these fights, I believe this is a true rivalry, it's true hate. I don't believe De La Hoya and Floyd like each other.
No, yeah.
Inside, outside the ring, in business, I don't believe they shake hands. There's a true dislike there. And it started when they fought each other, when Floyd Sr., Mayweather's pops, decided to train De La Hoya. But not even after that, De La Hoya is one of the first boxers, if not the first boxer, that started his own brand as far as like his own
his own promotion. Yeah.
Floyd followed right behind him and did his own thing.
Yeah.
They both came from Bob Arum, if I'm correct, didn't they?
Yeah.
They both came from Top Rank, so they got a similar history.
Yeah.
And then after De La Hoya got beat by Floyd, he was throwing all the fighters that he was promoting to try to beat Floyd. And he failed miserably. And now that they just both retired and both promoters, they both be trying to have their fighters outshine their own fighters. Yeah. So, man, the rivalry never stopped. Yeah. So that's why it's honorable mention for me. And then Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, speak for itself. I don't think there's any rivalry where there's a pound-for-pound number 1 and pound-for-pound number 2 that generate that much notice around the world, that dominated the era the way they did. So even though it's only one fight and Floyd won it, that rivalry was special. So I had to put it in the top 10 because it's 2 epic fighters and 2 legendary fighters. Yes, there's a lot of legends in here, but these 2 was the number 1 and number 2 of the era for years. So that's why I put it in there. Every other ones, there's a winner, there's a loser in multiple fights, and they at least fought for world titles. Yeah. So, that's my criteria.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I agree with all that. So, again, we both got Ali and Frazier at number 1. So, again, with Ali and Frazier, like the first one was at Madison Square Garden, and Frazier beat him, and that was an upset at the time because Ali, he beat Liston and all that, and he beat him. And not only they knocked him down as well, then that set up the second, then the third. Now, I think the reason it was so big as well because Ali was probably not only the most famous boxer in the world, and I presume back then, because the heavyweight division was like the blue ribbon division in boxing. Then Muhammad Ali would have been pound for pound the best fighter in the world at that time as well. And then you got to think from there, Frazier was probably number 2 or roundabouts there. So they fought each other, Madison Square Garden, big event, and then there was the fought abroad, and it was sort of like it was one of the first, especially televised, where they actually shown press conferences and that, because there's a lot of rivalries, in the 50s and the 50s and 40s, but you never got to see the press conferences and stuff like that. What Ali Frazier did was one of the first times that the film press conferences. So you saw Ali giving it all giving it all that, and then Frazier going back. That's correct, and that's why it was so big, because the media covered it. It was one of the first big fights where the media really jumped on it, and then it was huge. And I think I know a lot of it was on the radio at the time in Europe, but I think in America it was televised as well. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge as well.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I just feel like it got to be number 1. Not only the way the first 2 fight went. I mean, the first 2 fight were close, real close. I mean, Frazier won by unanimous decision.
I thought the first
one was close.
Comfortable.
You thought the first one Frazier won comfortably?
The second two was Clark. The first
see,
one,
I thought overall it was all close fights.
Yeah, the third one, there was nothing in it, and then Ali, and then Frazier quit on the stool. It was, he quit on the stool.
Yeah, I mean,
I've lost you, Jace.
You've lost me.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, my bad. You about to see me in a second. I apologize about that, man. I apologize about that. I guess the Do Not Disturb don't work.
No, but I think, like I say, Ali was probably the most famous man on the planet back then as well. He probably was the most famous man, especially sports athlete on the planet back then. So, and then it was sort of like, it was the first, I mean, I know, like I said, you've got fighters from different eras who was like the goodie and the baddie. Frazier was like the quiet, aggressive, come forward, pressure fire. Then you had Ali, the slip boxer mover. Most rivals, if you look at rivalries historically, a lot of them, one boxer, one pressure fighter, one fighter, one boxer. You had, that a lot. That if you look down the line of your list, there'll be a lot of those fights.
And Frazier was the bully, right? He was the pressure fighter or whatever.
Yeah.
And Ali was supposed to be the boxer, but Frazier, I feel personally, turned Ali later on in their fights. The first fight, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the first fight, Frazier kind of turned Ali into a brawler a little bit, and Frazier beat him as his own game, because Ali cannot fight that way. The second fight that Ali won by unanimous decision, I feel like Ali was able to just box.
Yeah.
But the third fight is epic. There's no way, because of how big these two names were. The third fight not only is controversial because of the stoppage, but it was a brawl.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Ali was just beating Frazier in his own game.
Well,
and Ali wanted to quit. I
think Ali, really, both of those after that fight, there was a thriller in Manila in it. That fight, there was never the same after that, both of them, because there was no loser and there was no winner to it. Because look, Frazier didn't come out off his stool, and Ali just about got up after it. I think Ali, if I remember right.
Yeah, but let me tell you the tricky story.
Yeah.
Frazier could have won that fight.
Yeah.
By TKO as well, because Ali won by TKO.
Yeah.
So the story is, Ali comes out or go back to his corner after the 13th round, right?
Yeah.
Before they come out for the 14th round.
Yeah.
Right? And Ali tell his trainer, cut my gloves off. When Frazier goes back in his corner, they're arguing, the trainers are arguing like, no, we're not letting him go back out because of how much of a brawl he was.
Yeah.
One of Frazier's friends saw Ali gloves cut off, tried to try to get the attention of Frazier's cornerman.
Let him in.
And try to get his attention like, no, don't throw the flag. Because Ali's about to cut his gloves and was about to quit.
Yep.
He never got to the cornerman on time.
Wow.
So Frazier and them threw the flag. That's the only, and then Ali just played it off like, yes. If you look at the image, his glove is cut off.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how close it was. They both wanted to quit. And the only reason Ali won is because Frazier corner got to the ref first.
Yeah, wow. So
that's why I got it number one.
Yeah, and it is epic. I mean, it's one of the historical. It's one of them. It's like you say with rivalries.
Crazy, man.
They needed each other. You mention Ali, you mention Frazier, you mention Ali.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's your number two? Who's your number two again, mate?
My number two is Duran Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay, yeah.
As much as I criticize Sugar Ray Leonard for his first fight, because I feel like he should have never lost to Duran if he stayed to his style and didn't let Duran get into his head. But all the antics, I mean, I don't know if everybody saw the movie. I saw parts of the movie. I didn't see the whole movie because it's so long.
Hands of Stone. Yeah.
Hands of Stones, yeah. And it explains in the movie that Duran followed Sugar Ray Leonard,
Yeah.
everywhere he went. Like everywhere. The mall, with his family. He was following Leonard everywhere, insulting him, saying all kinds of profanity to his kids, his wife, everything.
Yeah.
He got into Sugar Ray Leonard's head. And instead of just boxing and using his rhythm and getting out the way of punches, he fought into the hands of Duran. He fought like the angry man, because you remember, like, I remember the press conference, like, you're not going to disrespect my wife, my family, and all that type of stuff. So come fight night, it played in Duran. He wanted Sugar Ray to fight in the pocket. And next thing you know, even though Sugar Ray is not his style of fighting, Sugar Ray really gave a really good fight. And Duran just about won by unanimous decision.
Yeah.
But then number 2 and number 3,
yeah,
we got our box. And the second fight, people can make excuses for Roberto Duran. I remember there was a program on ESPN years later where Sugar Ray flies into Panama to go see Duran, because now they're good friends or whatever. And there was a whole documentary about the second fight, about the No Mas.
Yeah.
The documentary is called No Mas. Yeah. And I don't know if you can find it on YouTube.
Watch that.
I remember back in the day, I watched it on ESPN.
Yeah.
And he asked the question, what happened? Until this day, Duran don't want to tell the truth. He denies saying no mas.
Mm.
When, by the way, for those people that don't understand Spanish, no mas means no more.
Yeah.
So people can make all excuses about his condition. He said he wanted no more. And he actually denies to Leonard in the documentary, I never said that. Mm. But when you watch the replay, you clearly can read his lips. He don't want any more. And it's because he was shocked that Sugar Ray Leonard fought like he usually fights. He expected the same thing as the first fight.
Yeah.
And then the third fight was the same thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could have did it in the first fight, but when you let somebody get to your head and let your ego take over, now you just want to fight in the pocket. You wasn't fighting smart, but it's an epic fight. And knowing that they fought at welterweight the first 2 fights, and then fought at super middleweight the third fight.
Well,
I mean, and they're part of the what is it called, the 4-headed monsters in the 80s?
The Four Kings, the Four Kings. What you got to take into account as well, that like you're saying, it don't happen a lot, especially these days. But they were the 2 best in the world as well. You know, that they were the 2 best in the division. So, you know, there's that as well. That
definitely was epic, man. I mean,
so my number 2 is, well, there was big fights anyway, and it was for a world title. But it's political as well. It's political. It's Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling. Now, Joe Louis, Max Schmeling, one was obviously, at the time, Max Schmeling was from Nazi Germany. Obviously, it's Germany now, but he was Nazi Germany at the time. And Joe Louis, obviously,
If I'm correct, that's West Germany, right?
At the time, now, Mike, you see, when they split it to East and West, that was after the war.
My ignorance when it comes to history.
Yeah, that was after the war. So at the time, it was Germany, but he was Nazi Germany. And the first fight was in 1936.
Gotcha.
And then the second fight was in 1938. So it was in the build-up to the war. Hitler was already in power then. I think in 38, I think he might have already invaded Austria and stuff like that. And there was building tensions between, I know people say America come into the war late, but at the time, I think, was it Roosevelt? I think he had been Roosevelt at the time, said to Joe Louis, this is how much pressure Joe Louis had in the fight. He said, win it for the good guys. I think to this day, he had more pressure to win a fight more than any other boxer's probably ever lived.
I would agree with you. Unfortunately, I actually have that fight number 7.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, it's just
7. Yeah. I have it 7.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe I didn't give it its just dues.
Yeah.
Because I'm just focusing on the boxing aspect and how big it was in boxing. Mm-hmm. But in those times, the crisis there were in life. Yeah. I know how America was bad back then. I know we're focusing on Germany, but I know the times how it was in America for a young black man as well. It was very tough. So when Mitch is telling y'all, they say win it for the good guys, like, y'all need to understand that. I know there's a lot of things going on now. But it was even harder for a black man. It was rare to see the country get behind a black man over a white guy. That's how much they hated Germany. Yeah. That's how much they hated Germany. And y'all got to think about, you're talking about the second time around. The first time around, the German came and beat the American on American soil. Yep. So, and he was doing commercial with Coca-Cola.
Yep. So Max Schmeling in the build. So Max Schmeling in the, yeah, you're right. So Max Schmeling beat him in the first one. And you know, that's for America at that time, because obviously for them to send Max Schmeling over to America in those times, they must have been extremely confident. Sent him over, he's representing Nazi Germany. And this ain't no disrespect on Max Schmeling, because Max Schmeling has openly said that he was against the Nazis. But obviously he couldn't say that at the time and stuff like that because he'd have got killed. So, but he openly said, because at the end of the day, look, you can't know where you're born. But yeah, and then so Max Schmeling beat him. Joe Louis, America's champion at the time.
I mean, Coke was making. I mean, I call it Coca-Cola because I know that's, but Coke. Yeah. Coke was making commercials with Max Schmeling. Yeah. After he beat Joe Louis.
Joe Louis was the man. Joe Louis was the man, and then he's going to beat Joe Louis, and then this is the thing. I've watched a documentary. I told you to watch a documentary about Joe Louis. I
watched it, and that's why I remember the Coke commercial and all that.
I think Joe Louis is. I'm split between Joe Louis and Lennox Lewis, two of the best heavyweights that's ever lived. And then you imagine. I don't know if you said in the first fight. I think it might have been the second fight. Because 36 might have been a bit too early for tensions between the US and Germany. But definitely 38 was only a year before the war started, and he'd been Roosevelt at the time. Turned around, had a meeting with Joe Louis and said, win it for the good guys. And the media sold it as USA
against Germany.
Like a world war. And he beat him. And for that huge victory, morale boosting for troops, for the nation, it was bigger than boxing. There ain't many fights I've got on this list that mean more to just a nation's morale than that, because at the end of the day, especially in a fight.
But double way, you talking about nation morale internationally, but for Joe Louis, when you said it before, when we was arguing about Sugar Ray Robinson back then, you was saying in the 30s and 40s, right? He was struggling to get world title fights. Yeah. It was hard for a black man to get a title fight in America.
Of course.
The fact that he got a title fight after. I think the first one wasn't a title fight. It's only the second fight that was a title fight.
Yeah, he enlisted as well. He was in the army.
Yes. And the fact that the country was behind him.
Yeah.
And he gets persecuted for his skin color on his home turf. Yeah. It meant so much from a global standpoint for America, but a nation standpoint, the fact that the whole nation was pushing for this African American to beat this or actually I think was Max Schmeling the world champion at the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean it meant a lot. So I have it number 7, you got it 3rd. I'm not even gonna argue that. I might have made a mistake by having it 7th.
Not so much in boxing rivalry because they got on after.
Yeah, I'm thinking about boxing rivalry, but the impact that he was at that time, it was huge.
Yes,
it was huge. So I understand why you had it 3rd. I was just thinking boxing, but world impact. I mean, it was a big fight.
Who is your second? Did we do yours? We done your second.
We did my second. You want to do my 3rd? Well, my 3rd is your boy. Where my pillow at? Because I think he's still asleep from the 4th fight. Yeah, you know, I had to throw a little dig in here, man. You know, Manny Pac, man.
Digs at the GOAT.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? This. I guess there's different levels of goats.
Like yours, goats, TBE,
there's big goats, there's small goats. You know? Your man was very small in the 4th fight, but, you know, it's a great rivalry. Manny Pacquiao, Marquez, from super feather to welterweight. 2 fights at super feather, 2 fights at welterweight. First fight was a draw. Marquez retained his belt. The next 2 fights, Manny Pacquiao wins, but is very controversial. At least one of those wins, if not, it could have been Marquez too.
Yeah.
And then the 4th fight, you know, Marquez finished it early and sent Pacquiao to sleep for a few hours. He might still be dizzy. He might still be dizzy from it. But nah, honestly, like 2 legendary fighters. I don't think Marquez get enough credit.
Well,
most common fans do not know how great Marquez is, and he's not your conventional Mexican.
No.
And no diss to Mexicans. We respect how tough y'all is. That toe-to-toe. I'm not a big fan of it, but I respect your toughness. But Marquez is a true boxer, counter-puncher, a smart IQ.
Yes.
And he doesn't get enough. I don't think he gets enough respect because he fought in those small weight class.
Marquez, I don't know many. I mean, I know Canelo's a counter-puncher now, but I don't know many other. I mean, I don't know many other counter-puncher Mexicans. Normally, shutter guard, tight guard.
Well, we know why Canelo's a counter-puncher now, you know. Yeah, you know, when you get that dosage of the GOAT, you might want to copy the GOAT. Well, I don't blame him.
Yeah, I was saying Pacquiao, Marquez, purely because other than the 4th, which I don't want to talk about, other than the 4th, all 3 were so close. And they were so close, and you could, if you went to those fights, you got your money's worth. It was from round 1 to round 12 of the 3, and even up until the knockout of the 4th, it was.
And honestly, people, if I'm right, Pacquiao got knocked down in the 4th.
Yep.
And then he knocked down Marquez.
Yep.
And then Marquez knocked him down. But personally, I thought Pacquiao was winning the 4th.
Yeah, mate.
But he got knocked out.
That, out of all, it's crazy. Out of all the 4 fights, the 4th fight over the one, Pacquiao was most dominant. I was like, finally, he's got his number. I know he knocked him down before the knockout, but I thought, yes. And that round, Marquez's nose was busted, his face was swelling, and then got overconfident.
He was killing him. I think Pacquiao got too excited because he was dominating.
I remember saying to my uncle during that fight, I remember saying to him about 30 seconds before the stoppage, Pacquiao was going to stop him. He was breaking him up. I thought he's going to stop him, and then
Pacquiao was killing him.
Then we'll move.
Pacquiao was killing him.
Then we won't talk about the end. We'll move on.
To be honest, I make fun of it. It's all good and fun because I know Pacquiao's in good health right now.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, it was a horrible.
It wasn't funny when I watched the fight.
No, it was
as much as I'm a Floyd fan, you started thinking about his health. That's a bad. If people haven't watched it, that's a very bad knockout to the point that you thinking you fearing for his life.
He's gonna get up. Yeah.
I mean, he was shaking. Did you see when? I mean, any knockouts when you fall head first on your stomach, that's not good.
No.
And the fact that he was shaking, like kind of his back started twitching, I was like, whoa. So I like to take dig at my coach because that's one of his favorite fighter, and my favorite fighter is Floyd with the rivalry. But it was an epic knockout. But that's my number.
So
that's my number 3
on
my list.
So that's your number 3, Pac-Man. Now my number 3 was Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, but we've already covered.
See, I got that number 2. Yeah,
we've already covered that because I've discussed and you discussed. So now
we got the same number 4.
Who's your
we got the same. We got the exact same. Go ahead and say yours because that's mine. I got a good memory.
Now,
you're damn right.
Morales, if no one's ever watched Barrera Morales, you know what? I won't even say just pure violence because they're both good boxers. Both of them, they're underrated boxers. You know, Barrera's an underrated boxer. Barrera's an underrated boxer. And Morales can, but yes, they're predominantly aggressive fighters, but they're both good boxers. Both Mexicans, and they both hated each other. And the reason being, I've watched a documentary on it. Barrera was in Mexico, was from an upper class background. I think his mom and dad was lawyers. I think I'm right. I might be right. There was both his mom and dad was lawyers. He come from a reasonably good background. Whereas Morales come from the streets.
He come from the mud. And
then he always resented Barrera, and he used to give Barrera stick, saying, "Oh well, you're not as tough as me. I've come from the streets. You've had this." But Barrera, for someone, because that happens in boxing, 9 times out of 10, boxers come from a poor background. It is true. They come from a poor background. They've got nothing, so they have to fight the way there.
That's where the toughness and the adversity comes in play.
But Barrera must be so mentally tough because he didn't have to box. And the wars he had, the war. I mean, it's easy. Oh well, my mom and dad have got a big house, and I've got money left to me when what the hell would you God? The wars, the cuts, and everything like that. But both fights was great. There's both good fights. The 3 of them was all good fights. Every single one of them was good fights.
Definitely. I can't disagree.
Morales won
some tough fights.
Morales won the first one, if I'm right.
Morales won the first one.
Yep, by decision.
Was for the Super Bantam.
Yep.
WBC and WBO Super Bantam. The second fight was won by Barrera for no titles.
Yeah.
And the third one, they went up to Super Feather. Barrera won.
The points, all 3 of them?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah. See what I mean? They was both tough. Both could punch, but both could take a shot. There was both in the prime, which is big because especially these days, by the time you get a rivalry, one of them's done or one of them's not the same, or they're both not the same. It's like, for instance, then you could say like, I know I'm going off subject here a bit, but like Canelo, Golovkin, GGG. I personally think GGG was on the slide when Canelo got to him. I'd have been really interested if it had been 12 months, 2 years before it was happening. I think Canelo wanted GGG.
You also got to think that the size difference.
Yeah, but Canelo wanted GGG when he saw the Brook fight.
That's correct. But Canelo had to get his weight up to fight at GGG. And then another thing is I respect Triple G. I know Canelo tried to be slick to fight him at the right time, but GGG was still elite when he fought the first time. And I think that fight took a lot out of him. I got Canelo winning both fights anyway, even though the first one was a draw. But I have to also rain on Triple G's parade. Amazing boxer. But that's the same boxer that never moved division class. That's the same boxer, yes, I'm going to say, I believe, ducked Andre Ward.
Oh, don't bring up Ward. We're going to get back to Morales.
So I'm not going to let him get away with having a guy that came from, 154 that moved up to fight him.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying, but again, so it was 2-1 Barrera. All 3 of them was good fights. I mean, you could put, there's no way they're not entertaining. You can pick 1 to 3, all very good fights. Both in the prime, both really, to the point where they hated each other. Barrera punched Morales cleaning the jaw in a press conference. You can get it on YouTube. Them there, the
Oh yeah.
square off, and he just goes, boom. Mate, if that happens now, that's a full-on suspension. The fight ain't happening. You punch someone clean in the face, on the jaw, in a press conference, you're banned. Simple as that.
Yeah, for sure.
I know some people threw tables and that, but no one's took a clean. He was clean. Boom, his head twisted. He was clean.
Yeah, for real.
Right, and so my number 5 is now. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to do a late minute switch. Last minute.
You can't do no late minute switch.
Okay.
You can't do no late, don't do no late minute switch because you know I'm about to kill you.
Right, my number 5 is May over Pacquiao.
I didn't believe you had it that high.
Oh no. Sorry.
No, you had it. No, you didn't have it that high.
No, sorry. No, yes, switch it. My number 5 is Sugar Ray Robinson, Jake LaMotta.
Teamwork.
Yes,
But you got who?
Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta.
I'm gonna sit back and listen because I have a Sugar Ray Robinson fight in my top 10, but it's showing that one. Okay. So I'm about to sit back and listen.
Okay, get your water because you ain't got enough tea. Right.
Well, so, my water's almost done.
Now, one of the reasons why it has to be a big rivalry is because they fought each other 6 times.
Okay.
That is rare. To be honest, there probably is other fights out there, but 6 times. Now, at one, it was a contrasting styles. Sugar Ray Robinson, obviously slick boxer, moving, and could put, fight, but, predominantly slick boxer, moving. Jake LaMotta, face first, short, body punching, aggressive fighter. And don't get me wrong, it was 5-1 to Robinson, which is crazy. Because you think, well, how the hell and it was the second fight he lost. So he won the first one, won the second.
Lost the second.
Yeah. And then they had third, fourth, fifth. Now the Jake LaMotta actually said, and it was a quote of his, a funny quote, he says, I fought Sugar Ray Robinson that many times. No, he said, I fought Sugar that many times, I nearly got diabetes. And I think it was the 5th fight. I think it might be the 5th or the 6th. Sorry, was called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre because it was a brutal fight, absolutely brutal. Sugar Ray Robinson stood there, and most of the fight, Sugar Ray Robinson was boxing and moving. That fight, he was stood there and was fighting him, trading him. And the one fight. It was the last fight. Robinson actually stopped LaMotta because he can never stopped him, and it was the last fight. And he was stopped on his feet, but he stopped. I think he went down and got back up, but he stopped him in the last fight. He stopped LaMotta, but it was just there was back and forth. Then because LaMotta used to tease Sugar Ray Robinson, saying because Robinson, he stopped every. He was stopped even if he fought someone 2 or 3 times, he'd always stop him. And LaMotta always used to say, "Well, you never could stop me. You'd never stop me. You'd never stop me." And in the last fight, he finally stopped him.
I got you.
And
how many world titles did they fight for?
Pass. I don't know that, mate. I don't know that, but I know it was. There've got to have been at least a few in there because obviously there was both, especially Robinson. If there was a world title around about time, Robinson was fighting for it. Especially late on. That was later on in his career when he was fighting, when they fought like that many times. I understand early, like we said last week, he fought 74 fights without a title shot.
Yeah.
But just the 6 times, and there was all good fight. You know what I mean? It wasn't as if, I understand, if you think someone's beat you 5-1, it's one-sided, but none of the fights was one-sided. LaMotta had his moments every fight because LaMotta just kept on coming. As much as Ray Robinson was catching him with his jab and his 1-2s coming in, LaMotta kept on coming, getting him on the ropes for other body shots. Look, Robinson was just that. He was just better than him, but it was still highly competitive. And look, at the end of the day, they're always good fights when you've got a boxer moving and a puncher coming, and a punch, you know what I mean, and a fight. They're always good.
Well, these are two styles. Yeah. That creates the more.
If you could put a fight, show someone a fight, and explain 2 different styles. So if someone said to me, Mitch, what's the difference between a boxer who fights on the outside and a boxer who fights on the inside? I will put that fight on. So there you go.
Got you.
But again, both Hall of Famers, both got to be up there with the greatest fighters of all time. Well, look, Robertson, I think, is, and Lamotta's got to be. He's one of the all-time greats. He has to be. I mean, would his style be effective now? Probably not. But,
what weight did they fight at?
Pass. I think it might have been middleweight. I think it might have been middleweight. I'm thinking middleweight. Yeah. So that was my
fifth.
Who was your fifth?
I got Riddick Bowe
Against Holyfield.
And Evander Holyfield. I mean, there's nothing like a heavyweight rivalry.
Yeah, good fights.
And oh man, those 3 fights, amazing.
Yeah.
First fight, back and forth. Bull really started early, to the middle, up to the middle rounds. Yeah. Then Holyfield started dominating, and then I think the championship rounds, it was close. And then Holyfield came with the last surge towards the end, but it wasn't enough. They gave it to Bowe, unanimous decision. The second fight, they gave it to Holyfield, majority decision. It was again the back and forth. Yeah. And then the third fight, actually, it's crazy because the second fight, Holyfield was dominating, actually. But then somebody crashed the fight. I don't know if somebody that came from the skies or something. They crashed the fight, and there was an intermission, and they had to wait, which killed Holyfield's momentum. Yeah. And Bull just started dominating. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. They gave it a Holyfield majority decision.
I remember.
And then,
sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I remember I watched that fight. I don't know, a couple of months ago. I don't know, but I can't remember which one it was. Where Bowe has got Holyfield going. He's hurt him, and he's teeing off on him, fast punches combinations. And you think, oh, he's going to finish him. Then all of a sudden, Holyfield takes a shot, throws one back. He's got Bowe wobbled, so he's wobbled himself. He's caught him. Then Holyfield, and I remember the commentary going, "Oh, Holyfield comes back. Holyfield comes back," and I was like, "Wow." You know what I mean? That's just
it's an amazing fight. Yeah, I love heavyweight wars.
Yeah.
Watch those guys, and they skilled too.
And it goes to show how tough Holyfield was, because there was a massive size difference between
coming from cruiserweights.
Right, but you look at the size. You know, on the night, they're in close.
Yeah, Riddick Bowe is tall.
Nobody towers over him. I'd like to see the weight of the night. I'd bet you there's a big weight difference on the night.
For sure.
Holyfield grew into the weight, because that was early. That was one of the first fights Holyfield fought in the heavyweight division. By the time he got to Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis, Holyfield already growed into the division, and he got bigger and bigger and bigger. Clean or not clean, I ain't saying nothing. But he got bigger.
I'm not an expert on that. Yeah. I'm not an expert on that. I would have to talk to my boy Lewis.
No.
Not saying that Lewis does that stuff. Let me get that clear. He does a lot of studies on it.
That sounds bad.
Nah, let me get that clear. My boy clean.
No, yeah. Okay. So
I do have to say the third fight though, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all really need to watch the trilogy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the first 2 fights were for world titles.
Yeah.
The first 2. The first one was WBC, WBA, and IBF. Yeah. The second one was WBA and IBF. I'm talking about Riddick Bowe and Holyfield. Yeah. The last one was for bragging rights. And the last one, man, yes, Holyfield got stopped in the 8th round, but it's back and forth. And I thought he was going to stop Bowe. Holyfield was really tired. Apparently, he contracted hepatitis, or however you say it.
Really, hepatitis?
Yeah. Hepatitis right before the fight, and he still fought. Wow. And he dominated and actually hurt Bowe, but with that, I think he knocked down Bowe actually.
Yeah.
And with all that energy he used, he had nothing left because of what he had contracted, and Bowe knocked him out in the 8th round.
Oh, I kind of know. Right.
Well, it was a TKO, but you know.
So was that your 5th? Yeah.
That's my 5th.
So I've already said my 5th. My 5th was.
Yeah, so nice. Your 6th.
My 6 is talking of Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. Now.
I disagree. I totally disagree with that one, but go ahead.
What? How can you not Why?
I'm gonna tell you why, people, coach.
Oh.
How many fights did Tyson win?
How many fights did he win? Was it like 53 wins?
No, against Holyfield. They fought twice, right?
None. Yeah, none.
0. So to me, that's not a rivalry. Oh, okay. It is a rivalry. It's just not a rivalry worthy of being in the top 10 because Tyson technically has no bragging rights. A rivalry, you got to be able to, I beat you at that time or I beat you at that time. Tyson has, put it like this, Holyfield can walk in the room and be chilling.
Yeah.
Tyson can say, I bit your ear. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
You ain't beat him.
No, I understand. Right, again, so
to me, that's not a rivalry because
yeah.
Tyson has no bragging rights. Besides, I took a piece of your ear.
I get that. But you know what it was? Okay, you know what it was? So a lot of it was, so the fight, the reason being, the original fight was supposed to happen in 1991. Yeah? And so Holyfield just come up to heavyweight. I think he might have beat I ain't too sure around about that time. Mike Tyson was a beast, knocking out everybody. And it was supposed to happen. Everyone's like, oh, well, you had the number one cruiserweight in the world against the number one heavyweight in the world. And Evander Holyfield was bigger than Tyson, as in a frame, as in he was taller.
Was Tyson really the number one heavyweight in the world at that time, though?
1991, he would have been, yeah.
But that's not the time when they fought.
No, they fought in 1996. No, what I'm saying is, they were supposed to originally fight in 1991.
Oh, got you. My bad. I apologize. Yeah, I misunderstood you.
And then, hang on 1 second.
I misheard you.
I know. With the ranked lightweight division. Because don't forget Holyfield started like Tyson. Right, yeah. So, you know when Tyson fought Buster Douglas? That was supposed to be a tune-up fight for Evander Holyfield.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's why he fought. Because you think, well, why is he fighting Buster Douglas for? He wasn't ranked high. There was nothing like that. I don't know if he'd be, at the time, I don't know if he was in the top 10. I'm not sure. But he was only a tune-up. Where was he? He was in Tokyo, I think, when he was in Tokyo.
It was a hell of a tune-up.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was supposed to be a tune-up. And then, obviously, that derailed those plans. Then Holyfield was given a shot at Douglas then. Then Holyfield knocked him out in the 3rd round. And then blah, blah, after Tyson was decisively fight. Hang on, sorry. Not then. Yeah, then Tyson, okay. Then present day, then Holyfield went on to, had the fights with Riddick Bowe. Then he went to fight Michael Moorer. And then Tyson went to jail.
Got you.
Yeah, so when he was fighting Bowe and then when he was fighting, Michael Moorer, Tyson jail, and Tyson was released from jail. Then he fought that Peter McNeely. They are the one who done all that talking before the fight in the press conference. And then, yeah. And then they eventually fought. So it was like the build-up. They were supposed to fight. And then Tyson always had that, okay, he had a couple of tune-ups, but he was out the ring for so many years. Was it 4 or 5 years, something like that? 4 years, something like that? So maybe 3 years, I ain't too sure. But there was the long laugh. All right, he had tune-ups, but he wasn't the same. So what they did then, they sold the second fight as, right, and he's back now. Okay, you beat him the first time, you stopped him, yeah. But now he got stopped? He got stopped in both? Did he get actually disqualified? Yeah, the second fight he got disqualified, didn't he? He was completely gone. Then the first fight he got stopped, didn't he? He got stopped in the first fight. But in between that, they sold it as, right, and Tyson was saying to the press, I'm back. Yes, I lost the first one. My head wasn't right. I just come out of prison. I had tune-ups, but I wasn't really motivated. This time I'm back. And then I think the
second fight is when he bit his ear, right?
Yes. I think the second fight. But he stopped him anyway. I think he stopped. Hang on, I've got to check. Did he stop? Hang on. This is bad, this. This is lack of homework, this. He stopped him.
Nah, it's so good.
The fight. Right, now, the first one he stopped the fight. He stopped him in the first, yeah. And the second one was a DQ. He disqualified him.
Yeah, he beat him. He bit his ear.
But really, I just think Tyson. I just think Holyfield had his number. I do. People say, "Oh, Tyson won in his prime." I think he's just one of them. Tyson.
I don't think Tyson was in his prime then.
But I don't think it makes, and this is why I don't think it makes a difference. I think Mike Tyson had that air of like a bit of a bully. He thrived off you being scared. Everybody, he said, and he even said himself, people already lost before they got in the ring with me. He said that. Then with Holyfield, in the press conference, in the build-up, was not scared of him. He'd already been with Bo. He'd already been with, you know what I mean? He was not scared of Mike Tyson. So, and I think when Tyson hit him and he could take it, because that's the thing, everyone says, oh, Mike Tyson was on his prime. He still had his power. He still had his knockout power. And he hit Holyfield clean. And he still took the shots. And then if you've got a bully who's used to punching every single time you land a punch and boom, just bounces off him, you're going to think, oh, no. You know, that's because Mike Tyson's plan A, B, and C was knock him out. Simple as that. He had plan A, B, C. He never boxed anybody, you know, boxed a mood or anything like that. Yeah, he done what he did. And he couldn't knock him out. And then he got frustrated. Yes, there was the headbutts and stuff like that. I understand that. But I think the headbutts, was wound him up. But I think he was frustrated that he couldn't get him out of there as well. Possibly. So that was my, did I say that was my 6? Yeah, that was my 6.
Yeah.
Who's your 6, mate?
My 6 is Lennox Lewis and Hasim Rahman.
Hasim Rahman.
It's Rahman.
Rahman. Well, they say Rahman. Push me, it's Rahman.
Well,
and that's American. That's American. Well, Jim Lampley said.
Yeah, it's Rahman.
Right, well, go on then. Anyway, you know what? Right, go on. I know what you're saying it's a rivalry because it was 1-1, really. But
first of all, I never even asked you.
Yep.
Oh, they were fighting for a title fight, Lewis and Tyson and Holyfield.
Yeah.
But nah, it was a hell of a rivalry. It shouldn't have been one if Lewis took care of business the first fight. But it became one.
That one.
After Lewis got KO'd by Hasim Rahman for the WBC, IB, and the WBC and the IBF. That's what they fought for.
Yep.
Right? They had a rematch. I guess it was a rematch clause because Lewis was the champion or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the press conferences got heated.
Yeah.
He was talking so much trash.
He fell through the table. Have you seen when they fell through the table? Have you seen when they fell through the table?
That was an interview.
That was ESPN.
That was not even a press conference. That was an interview on ESPN, and they was just talking. And next thing you know, Hasim got in. Did Hasim get in Lewis' face? I don't know what happened, but they ended up.
They said, like, you're going to do something about it. And they stood up, and because they're like both massive, they fell through the table.
They ended up moving some furniture. Put it like that. Just look it up on YouTube. They ended up moving some furniture. It was mayhem in there. Yeah. So personally, it was amazing. Hasim got so much confidence by knocking out the world champion. Yeah. And he was talking so much trash. And he could have got into Lewis' head. Because in the press conference, Lewis wasn't talking too much.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Hasim was like, man, I got all your belts. Thanks to you. I appreciate you. I got all your belts. And next thing you know, Lewis come back and knocks him out after he got knocked out by him. So to me, that rivalry had to be top 10 in my opinion. And it's nothing like a heavyweight rivalry.
It was as well, it was sort of like Lewis as well, because obviously I'm talking from the British standpoint, so I remember that fight. And it was sort of like Lewis shutting up the doubters as well. Because, see, look, he's chinny, he got knocked out. But then it was a bad knockout. But Lewis at the time was filming Ocean's 11, wasn't he? You heard about what the reasons. He was in the film Ocean's 11. And he wasn't really training. And that fight was in South Africa. And the humidity was really high. And there's a story where it was like 2 weeks before the fight. And he went on a run. And apparently he ran something like 20, 30 yards. And he was like, oh no, you know, I ain't gonna swear, but he went, oh no. He's like,
yeah,
I'll mess this up. And then he put him out. And was fair play to Hasim Rahman, can't knocked him out, you know, cold. Well, he was out. But then the statement, Lewis, I always remember Lewis knocking him out. It was a hell of a knock. Boom, I think it was a left up. And then Lewis just beat in his chest and just went, I am the man. He goes, don't doubt me now. He's put it right.
No, I mean, it was a true champion, but I had to put it in there, in my opinion.
I get that. So that was your 6, yeah?
Yep. What's your 7?
My 7th was... My 7th was Pacquiao Marquez, what we already spoken about.
We spoke about that. My 7 is Joe Louis, Max Schmeling. We already spoke about that. So let's jump to number 8.
Who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez. So now, 2 true warriors, 2 Mexican. So all the fans out there that always scream for people to swing, fight, toe-to-toe, watch every single one of those fights. It's 4 fights.
Great fights.
And it's straight violence, nonstop. They're back and forth. It is a little different than the Barrera, Eric Morales. This is some true Mexican toe-to-toe fighting.
Well, the thing is, people don't realize that Rafael Marquez is Marquez's brother. Juan Manuel Marquez, the brothers. I mean, that was a hell of a stable. That Nacho Berenstein, Marquez's trainer, he had the brothers. That's people. You talk about boxing brothers and stuff like that. That's 2 talented brothers there. 2 top. That genetic. There's got very good genetics there.
Yeah, and that was super bantamweight. So Marquez won the first bout for the WBC title. Then the second bout, Vasquez won for the WBC title, super bantamweight. They always fought at super bantamweight. The third fight, Vasquez won. And actually, the first fight, Marquez won by TKO in the 7th round. Second fight, Vasquez won by TKO in the 6th round. The third fight, Vasquez won by split decision. That's how close it was. And then the 4th fight, Rafael Marquez won by KO in the 3rd round. That one was for no title.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the fights are exciting.
Well, I think they got the, so you say, they've got 2 knockouts each, didn't they?
Yeah. Well,
no.
Marquez got 2 knockouts.
Yeah.
And Vasquez got 1 knockout and a split decision. But they got 2 wins to 2. They split all 4 fights was split 2-2. So I mean, it's exciting.
And you know what? No, that's you know what?
The only reason I don't have it high because it's super bantamweight, and even though they fought 3 out of the 4 fights for world titles, obviously the little weights doesn't get as much glamour as the bigger weights, and I'm always being biased, even though I'm a little guy. I'm always gonna rank higher heavyweights, especially at the time the heavyweight division, these rivalries that we spoke about, the heavyweight division was the ultimate #1 division. I don't feel like it is right now. For the big guys, I'm sorry.
No.
You're not the #1 division right now.
But
in those times, they were.
Yeah, well, it's a shame as well because no one really talks about that fight. When have you ever seen people in the gym or, anyone like ever talk about that fight? Ever?
People probably don't even know about it. So that's why I need to watch. This way I need to watch my coach podcast and get educated.
Rafael Marquez, Israel Vasquez. That's a plug for you two.
Yeah.
Right, Ed.
Yeah, go watch that.
So,
what's your number 9?
My number 9 is...
What was your number 8 anyway?
Oh, sorry. Did I never did 8, did I?
No.
No, I didn't, did I? No. No. Sorry, my number 8 was Mayweather Pacquiao. No, sorry. No. No.
I think it was. I think you did have number 8.
Number 8 was Mayweather Pacquiao. No.
I have nothing to say. I agree. I got it number 10. You got it number 8.
Right.
I agree. It's an exception to the rule.
Yep.
They're 2 legendary fighters. Yep. 1 and 2 in their era. Yep. Yes, they fought late. The talking trash between them was going on for almost a decade before they fought. I mean, it felt like a decade at least. They exchanged being De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Cotto. They exchanged opponents. I mean, they're the number 1 and number 2 greatest fighters of their era. So I'm gonna do an exception to that rule, just because even though it was only 1 fight, it's 2 special fighters. So they don't need no criteria.
Like you say, you could turn around and say that they have both got an argument that they're both 2 best fighters ever lived. They're in that argument, and considering they fought each other, They beat all the best fighters of the era. Both of them beat the best fighters of the era. And they both beat the same opponents. Both multiple weight world champions. Both probably the most decorated world champions as well. And it was, like you say, the fight was first spoken about was in 2009. That's 6 years in the making. Yes, they never fought each other twice, but it was a build-up. It was the build-up that done it. You know, if they had fought straight away in 2010, and it was the same, I don't think it would have been, but let's say it was the same fight as the 2015 one, it wouldn't have been as glamorized. But because every year the media build it up, Pacquiao would win, Mayweather would win. Okay, let's make it. Oh, it ain't happening. And then Pacquiao would lose against Bradley, Mayweather would win. And then Pacquiao come back again. Oh, we need to see that fight again. Then the Marquez, and then the sort of like, because they fought each other, the same. They both fought Cotto, they both fought Patterson, they both fought De La Hoya, they both fought Mosley. It was sort of, they're always trying to one each. They've done that on purpose. Of course,
I do want to add something, people. And I have to say that to educate people. Y'all do your homework when I say this, though. Pacquiao lost twice during the build-up of Pacquiao Mayweather.
Yep.
I still think Pacquiao's number 2 is not even an argument of that era. It's not even an argument to me. I don't care he lost twice during the build-up. Forget his early losses in his career. He lost twice when everybody was asking for a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. But this way, I need to do your homework on. If Mayweather would have lost once, not only the fight wouldn't have happened, he would not even be considered number 2 no more. And that's a double standard in boxing.
No,
that's a double standard in boxing. If Mayweather would have lost, he would not be glamorized the way Pacquiao got glamorized during 2 losses during that stretch.
Right then.
Wouldn't have been.
Right.
And there was still an argument about the split, and people were still debating shows, the Skip Bayless, and so forth. And I'm sure if I knew Coach at the time, he would have been right there. Oh, the split shouldn't be the way it is. The split, you're talking about undefeated fight and a fight that lost twice. If it was Mayweather and he would have lost once, that's a double standard in boxing. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to educate the people the double standard.
Right. Now, this
okay.
I disagree. If Mayweather had lost, he wouldn't have been considered number 2. I disagree, because what he did before that, in the build-up to that fight, was already enough to claim his number 2, at least. And then, and this is my opinion, I think, and it wouldn't surprise me, if Floyd Mayweather did ever lose a fight, he'd never fight again.
That's a conversation for a different day. You could be right. Because I'm just saying that
a lot of fight, or he could have come back and he was never the same. Purely because most fighters who've had a long streak of undefeated runs, and this goes for everyone, more or less everyone, when they've lost after a long period of time and come back, they're never the same, because their air of invincibility is gone, the confidence goes, and they become.
That's true. I believe, unlike many, I believe that Floyd is mentally tough and tougher than we think. So I believe potentially he could come back. But I heard that theory before. I mean, I can understand why you think that. But all I'm saying is Mayweather room for error wasn't the same as Pacquiao. And we try to put them on the same level of greats. But if Mayweather would have lost twice in that stretch, that's the double standard in boxing. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So hang on. But all right, you've got to. All right. Yeah. You look. We're never, ever in a million years going to ever agree on this. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you've got to admit this. Then you rank Mayweather number 1. All right, Pacquiao number 1. But you've got to admit this from a Mayweather point of view. If Mayweather's here, yeah, Pacquiao is just here. It ain't like Mayweather's here and Pacquiao's here.
In what? Are we talking skills or accomplishments?
No. Overall.
No.
No?
People, Mayweather's here. Pacquiao is here.
No.
And then people under Pacquiao are over here.
See.
The rest was way below Pacquiao, but Mayweather was way above Pacquiao.
I was going to respect Mayweather, and I was going to say, listen, I was going to say
that was a respectful answer to Pacquiao.
I was going to say, overall, when they're all done, Pacquiao's here, yeah, Mayweather's here. That's what I was going to say. You ain't got the respect for Pacquiao that I got respect for Floyd.
No, I respected Pacquiao. He's lucky that he's that close to Floyd. That's all I got to say.
Right then. Okay, what number was we on?
TBE.
We've gone off track. What? Goat. Right.
Baby goat.
Okay. Right.
Number 9. We had number 9.
Number 9 was I had Vasquez and Marquez.
Okay. So I have people. That's the disagreement that I have. I have a Sugar Ray Robinson fight. But number 9, I had Sugar Ray Robinson and Carmen Basilio. So the story between the two is they fought for the lineal title, the lineal middleweight title. So at the time, there wasn't WBC, WBA, or whatever. They fought in 1957 and 1958. The boy Carmen Basilio was an upcoming guy. In 1952, he had beat someone. I forgot the name of the person he just beat.
Yeah.
But he had came across Sugar Ray Robinson, and he wanted to introduce himself to Sugar Ray Robinson because potentially he was going to be an opponent of Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. And apparently, white guy at the time, Carmen Basilio is a white American, and he walked up to Sugar Ray because Sugar Ray was a legend or whatever. Walked up to him, tried to shake his hand. Sugar Ray ignored him. Walked past him, didn't even shake his hand, and ignored him. I'm not saying it's because of the racial excuse. I mostly think it's because Sugar Ray had a big head at the time and just thought he was better than everybody.
Yeah.
And apparently, Basilio told his people, make the fight. This happened in 1952. Make the fight happen because I'm going to beat him up because he felt so disrespected. It didn't happen until 5 years later, but in between the 5-year stretch, the media kept talking about it. I don't know how big the media was back in the 50s, but they kept talking about it. It happened in 57, and he shocked the world. And the first fight, he said he did what he said he was going to do, and he beat Sugar Ray Robinson in a split decision. And the second bout, which was the rematch, Sugar Ray won in a split decision.
Ooh, very close.
So they 1-1.
Yeah.
So I put that in my number 9.
They never had a third. They probably should have had a third, really.
They never had a third.
Really should have, shouldn't they? But, okay. Yep. Again, good. At least you've mentioned. I mean, we both mentioned Robinson there, but at least I've mentioned Lamont and you've mentioned Basilio. So, who is your number 10?
My number 10 is Floyd and Pac.
We've already spoken.
Pac-Man, Pacquiao, whatever you want to call him. Baby Goat, second of all time. Whatever you want to call him, against TVE. But I did have Leon Spinks and Larry Holmes because it's really interesting the hatred they had for each other. And there was questionable decisions. I really think Larry Holmes won the second fight. But because they gave both fights to Spinks, I got to stay true to my criteria. So that's an honorable mention. I put Pacquiao and Mayweather because they don't need criteria. So I got that number 10. What's your number 10?
Right. Now, I know we talked about not swapping, but I'm going to swap, and here's why.
Yeah, because I was going to kill you if you was going to name them.
But you did mention, now, I was going to put Toro Gatti and Mickey Ward. Now, the three best fights, as in fights, not boxing matches, Jason, fights, that you're ever going to see. It was just pure violence. But Jace is saying that we're talking about all-time rivalries. Now, it was a rivalry, but it wasn't for a world title. And I don't think that they ever really hated each other. I don't think they did. I think that, especially, you know what, they might have done in the first, like a lot of people, the first fight, they might have hated each other, but then once you're fought, you get your respect for each other. My number 10 is going to be Chris Eubank versus Nigel Benn. Now, you might think, oh, well, that's a British thing, but no.
No, people, don't let him paint that picture. I love my British people. I love y'all. It's just not in my top 10, but I respect it.
because both fights was for world titles. Both fights.
Yeah.
One was Eubank stopped him in a war. Well, say a boxing match, and then Benn got caught. Benn's eyes started swelling, and the second one, everyone thought Nigel Benn won, but they gave it a draw. So it should have been really 1-1, and then they should have had a third. But because it was like 1-0 to Eubank, then the one was a draw. Okay, but what it was, the build-up. I'm not kidding you. If you can watch documentaries, you can watch stuff, you can watch build-up to the fights. The first fight, it was hatred. Benn says that you see Benn's face. You know, when Benn goes to the ring, walks to the ring in the first one. When he gets in the ring, he's like this, and he won't take his eyes off him. And he said, his words were, I can't wait to get stuck into him. So he says, I cannot wait to get my hands on him. There's a video, it's the contract signing. And Eubank was all very Chris Eubank. He was he was the arrogant suits. He was the tough, the upper class. And Benn was like the street, Cockney, down to earth geezer. And he thought he was above Benn. And Benn felt like he was looking down on him. And there's one iconic picture. And Benn and Eubank just there with his arms folded, looking forward. It must have been a press conference or a contract signing, like a picture of the contract signing. And he's just there looking forward at the camera. And Benn is here, just looking at him there, like his nose is there, and Eubank just like. And the hate even now they don't like each other now. They're well in the 50s, and they don't.
A true rivalry.
You probably respect each other. Of course you do. You respect each other.
Rivalry, there's always respect there, but the hate is real. And I feel like hate is a form of respect.
But the hate is just now. And it's just crazy. They did a spin-off series called. You can get Jace, watch it on YouTube. It's they're called Gladiators. What they had to do, they put them both. I think it was like for a week or 2 weeks. They had to train like gladiators. And in the end, I forget what country it was in. I mean, it could have been Rome, to be fair, because it was gladiators. And then in the end, they had to compete in this gladiator thing, and Benn beat him. But they nearly had 2 fights there. They had to be split up there just in the training. They had to train amongst each other, next to each other. They had to compete in different challenges. They squared up, they pushed each other, tried to get at each other. They could probably be 70 years of age and still they'd not find something to argue about. They just hate each other. And it wasn't that. There was both top fighters as well. I think Eubank had like 10 straight title defences. They never really. Benn went to America, to be fair to him, beat some Americans. They probably both should have fought Roy Jones, fair enough. But I do honestly think they would have as well. They would have. It won that they didn't want to fight him, but those two hated each other, and both was good fights, just because it was just in domestic. But that's my 10, Eubank and Benn. Who's your 10? Did you say your 10? You did.
Yeah, that was Big Goat and Baby Goat.
Yes. The GOAT and TBE. You can call yourself TBE, but we all know the GOAT.
No. Your man is Baby Goat.
Baby Goat. Okay, Baby Goat. Okay. Well, all I'm saying is first ever fighter to win a title in 4 different decades. Boom.
Oh, I just woke up. Sorry.
Well, anyway, what my honourable mentions. You done yours at the start, then I forgot to do mine.
Sorry, go ahead.
Was Bo Holyfield, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Could have look. A lot of these could have met the top 10. They could have. Roy Jones Jr., Antonio Tarver. Because
that was one of my honorable mention, I think. Yeah. No, actually, I didn't mention it, but it is one of them.
Because it was, then there was 3 good fights. Roy Jones Jr. has got a claim to be a GOAT. He really has. He's one of the best fighters that's ever lived. Tarver's a very, very good fighter. And to be fair, probably doesn't get the recognition he deserves for beating Jones, because he was the first, he was the first to do it. And he knocked Jones out in the second, was it third?
Do you believe this is honorable mention? I just thought about it. Hopkins and Jones?
No.
They hated each other. They fought very, very early, and they fought very late. But in between, it was always talked about in the U.S. how much they hated each other.
Reason being, because, yes, Jones in his prime would have beat him if they fought each other.
He beat him. They fought early.
No, he did. But people say, Hopkins blew him late, which he did. But Hopkins is very good. You know, Hall of Famer, boxing IQ. But Hopkins has got a better boxing IQ than Jones has, by far. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
But Jones, his athletic ability, punch power, speed, I just think, put Hopkins towards the end when he was in his prime, when he beat Pavlik, when he fought Calzaghe, when he, was the alien, when he was beating all these lads, these men when he was old and stuff like that. Put him then against Jones in his prime. So Hopkins in his prime, Jones. I think if they fought each other 5 times, Jones beats him 5 times. I do.
Gotcha.
Good, yeah. And the second one was a shame to see. Have you seen the second fight?
Yes, I.
It's just, they shouldn't have made it. It was a shame to see, really. And then I've mentioned another one, which if you're going to get heated and it's nasty, it's controversial, I think I think he should have been banned for life after it. Pacquiao messed him up after. It's Cotto Margarito.
Yeah, that definitely is.
If there was ever a fight that should have been banned, it's Antonio Margarito. I think all peds, all cheaters. I think Jarrell Miller should have been banned for life. Canelo's controversial, but if he
No. Jarrell Miller get banned for life.
Yeah.
Canelo get banned for life. I'm sorry.
Jarrell Miller's.
I guess I won't go to Mexico and eat steak.
No,
ain't that right, Canelo?
But if you think Jarrell Miller, he tested positive for steroids, growth hormone, and EPO, all the same time, that's probably the biggest cheat. Look, obviously there's lots of fighters who take it. Now, as we speak now, there's someone injecting somewhere or taking something now. But I think he's the only fighter in boxing to test positive for all 3 at the same time. That's like the cheating of all cheating. Canelo, Clenbuterol, okay. Is it a performance enhancer? Not really. It's like a wager, but still. He still cheated, still failed the test. He got lucky with a 6-month ban. But for a cheat of the cheat, at the end of the day, me and you both know how dangerous this sport is. Yeah. Like you said, I remember you came to me before after sparring the once and you said you was having headaches. I remember that. And I said to you, right, and you ain't sparring. I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks. I said, right, you ain't, till that headache goes, you're not sparring. If it carries on, you have to go to the doctors and get it sorted. But can you imagine now? Because there was no beef in the build-up, the first fight. There was no beef. It was the Mexico-Puerto Rican rivalry, but nothing more than that. Respectful in the build-up. Miguel Cotto was the number 1 welterweight at the time. Margarito was the boogeyman. No one wanted to fight him. That includes Floyd, by the way, and that is the truth. That is a fact. Right?
What?
That's the truth. There's a video of Floyd Mayweather, go on YouTube, and he says it's business, it's business. Because at the time now, Margarito was avoided by all the welterweights at the time because he wasn't fast. He was powerful and he kept coming. He was like and he didn't bring anything to the table. He was an horrible night's work. He was only towards the end.
Yeah, because there was no business there. That does not mean Floyd was ducking him.
Well, anyway,
that's just your opinion. Guys, don't let him paint that picture again.
No. Listen, no, there's a video. Get it on video. Floyd says to him, well,
it's business.
Business, right? Well, anyway.
I don't mean he's ducking him.
No, because he's an hard night's work for...
Floyd would have did to him what he did to Guerrero.
No, well, anyway. Yeah, no, look, in the end, he got exposed. But at the time, this was like 2006, he was a beast. Yeah, he stopped Sergio Martinez. People forget that.
Yeah, but in 2006, Floyd haven't even fought De La Hoya yet.
No. But anyway. So there was no build-up. And then I think he might have been a mandatory. I presume he would have been a mandatory at the time. That's why Cotto fought him. Because obviously everyone's avoided him. Fought him. First 4, 5, 6 rounds, Cotto was in control. Boxing his head off. Boxing and moving beautiful. But he just kept on coming. Then it kept on coming. And then all of a sudden he tired. Boom, boom, boom. Catching him. He started messing Cotto's face up. He kept on getting closer, eventually breaking down and stopping him. Then after the fight, nothing. That's it. Margarito was, I think, classed as the number 1 welterweight in the world then. Floyd come back and blah, blah. Since then, I think Floyd was retired then. But then Shane Mosley fought him in January 2008. Now, before the fight, they found blocks of plaster of Paris in his pads, in his gauze. plaster of Paris is what you get. You know, when you break your arm and it's that solid, rock hard cast. That's plaster of Paris. It's rock hard. Those was in his gauze, 2 of them, one in one wrap, one in the other. And he says, and his coach at the time said, "Oh, it was a training. It was for training. We accidentally swapped it. Why would you be using that in training? What benefit does that give you in training? Nothing." So, don't wrong. The second fight, it was sort of like the way of the first, as in like Marguerite kept on walking down, cut our boxing, but there was no stoppage. But I think it was disgusting, and that's why it was a rivalry, because the second one, Cotto got his revenge, and he looked at him. He said,
Max was there when they was doing the little build up, right? They was around the round table after for the second. Yeah.
Yes,
I remember.
And Margarita was saying he's crying like a bitch. I'm going to beat him again and stuff like that. If you can imagine, because after that fight, Miguel Cotto had to go to hospital. He was breathing out. He was bleeding out his nose.
Out of his ear. Yeah.
Ears, mate. If you're bleeding out your ears, if you're bleeding out your ears, there's a problem.
Your brain might be affected.
Problem. So that's terrible. And to see that, and then knowing you're doing that to someone, and your coach knows. Not only you, your coach knows. You both should. You know what? Let's say I wanted to cheat. My coach should be the one to say, no, you're not doing that. And it's vice versa. My coach wants to cheat, but I don't want to cheat. I should tell him, Coach, we ain't doing that. So it's sick. It's evil. So that's my honourable mentions there. Not because of that's, God me. If there's ever you wanted to kill someone in the ring in a rematch, it was Miguel Cotto doing that, because he's got kids and stuff like that. At the end of the day, that's attempted murder, really. You're trying to kill someone. You might as well gone in there with a knuckle duster.
I always say boxers got a license to kill. So why cheat?
Yeah.
You already got a license to kill.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, mate. So that has covered top 10. Both all good fights. Similar in a lot of ways. We got mostly the same fights, but in different orders. People are going to have their own list. Hopefully, everyone's found it interesting and educational. That we've, hopefully they'll go and check these fights out later. Some of these fights that we've listed.
Go check the fights.
Yeah. Please subscribe. Because we are getting a lot more, we are building, and like last week we've got a lot more views on videos and subscribers, so it does help, and it means a lot. The next podcast is going to be interesting, and it's controversial, and it should get a lot of boxing fans' interest. It's going to be about robberies in boxing, as in bad decisions or bad stoppages. It ain't necessarily got to be a bad decision. It could be something stopped too early. Stuff like that. So that'll be a good one. We're going to get that done this week, and hopefully that'll be out either late this week or early next week, depending on.
Definitely.
But
looking forward for that one.
No, but Jace, thank you very much for
appreciate the invite again.
I would appreciate it. Thank you very much, mate. That'll be it for now.
All right, no problem.
For the next one.
All right. You have a good one, Coach.
You. Bye.
Bye.